It was morning rush hour in Maputo, Mozambique. Cars were honking, filling the air with a cacophony of noise. The city was alive with the hustle and bustle of people starting their day. People were hurrying to work, their faces set with determination. The sidewalks were crowded with commuters, each person lost in their own thoughts, unaware of the drama about to unfold. It seemed like any other day, with the usual morning routines and the familiar sights and sounds of the city. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting a golden glow over the buildings. But for one man, this ordinary February morning would become a nightmare. He walked with a sense of purpose, but there was an underlying tension in his steps. At about 7 a.m., a 57-year-old Portuguese-Mozambican man arrived at the Olympic Committee building in the Polana Cimento neighborhood. He was a well-known figure in the community, respected and admired by many. He was going about his day, not knowing about the danger close by. His mind was likely occupied with the tasks ahead, completely unaware of the sinister plot unfolding around him. 4 men were hiding, waiting for him. They had been planning this for days, meticulously going over every detail to ensure nothing would go wrong. Armed with an AK-47, they went up to him. The sight of the weapon was enough to freeze anyone in their tracks, and he was no exception. He was forced into a waiting car, a white sedan. The men moved with precision, their actions swift and coordinated. It was clear they had done this before. It was all over very quickly. In a matter of seconds, the man was gone, leaving behind only the echoes of the morning rush and the stunned silence of those who witnessed the abduction. Security cameras caught the scary event. The grainy footage showed the men executing their plan with military-like precision, leaving no room for error. The police haven't said much, but one thing is clear. This was a well-planned professional kidnapping. The level of coordination and the choice of targets suggested a deeper motive behind the crime. Hilario Lol, a spokesperson for the Mozambican National Criminal Investigation Service, CERNIC, confirmed they are investigating. The community is left in shock, grappling with the reality of such a brazen act happening in their midst. News of the kidnapping spread fast through Maputo. Fear and worry gripped the hearts of its residents as they whispered about the latest victim, filled the city. This wasn't the only kidnapping. It was the third one in Maputo in 2025 alone. Each incident seemed to be more brazen than the last, leaving the community in a state of constant anxiety. For years now, Mozambique has been dealing with many kidnappings. The targets are often business owners, especially those of Asian descent. These individuals are seen as lucrative targets due to their perceived wealth and influence. The reason is almost always money. These aren't random crimes. They're planned out and done with scary precision. The kidnappers demand hefty ransoms, knowing that the families will pay to ensure the safe return of their loved ones. The kidnappers often have inside information, knowing their victims' daily routines and weaknesses. They track their targets meticulously, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The fear is real. People are scared to go out alone. They're scared to speak up. The once bustling streets of Maputo now fall silent as night approaches, with residents locking themselves indoors, hoping to avoid becoming the next target. The kidnappers seem to get away with it, which makes the fear even worse. The police are often one step behind, and the lack of arrests only emboldens the criminals. The community is left feeling helpless, wondering when the nightmare will end. Mozambique, once hurt by civil war, has seen a lot of economic growth lately. The country has made significant strides in rebuilding its infrastructure and boosting its economy. Skyscrapers now dot the cityscape, and new businesses are opening up, providing jobs and opportunities for many. The streets are bustling with activity, and there's a sense of optimism in the air. But this new wealth has a downside. While some areas have flourished, others have been left behind. The gap between the rich and the poor is widening, and the contrast is stark. In the shadow of luxury apartments, you can find neighborhoods struggling with poverty. The country's resources, especially its large gas reserves, have brought in foreign investment. International companies are eager to tap into these reserves, promising economic benefits and development. Massive gas facilities have been constructed, and the influx of foreign capital has been significant. But this wealth hasn't been shared equally. The benefits of these investments are often concentrated in the hands of a few, leaving many Mozambicans without access to the newfound prosperity. The disparity is evident in the living conditions and opportunities available to different segments of the population. Corruption is a big problem, and many ordinary Mozambicans haven't seen the benefits of this growth. Government officials and business leaders are often accused of siphoning off funds meant for public projects. This has led to widespread disillusionment and frustration among the populace. This difference has created a good environment for crime. As the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, crime rates have soared. Dark alleyways and neglected neighborhoods have become hotspots for criminal activities, making everyday life dangerous for many. Kidnapping for ransom has become a big business, attracting organized crime groups from Mozambique and other places. These groups operate with impunity, targeting both wealthy individuals and foreigners. The fear of abduction has become a daily reality for many. The Mozambican government has been criticized for its slow response to this crisis. Protests have erupted, with citizens demanding more effective action and accountability. The government's inability to curb the rising crime has led to a loss of trust among the people. Despite some important arrests, the kidnappings continue. Law enforcement agencies are often under-resourced and overwhelmed, struggling to keep up with the sophisticated tactics of organized crime groups. The cycle of crime and fear persists. The courts are often seen as weak and easily influenced by bribes. Judicial corruption undermines the rule of law, allowing criminals to escape justice. This has further eroded public confidence in the legal system, making it difficult to achieve lasting change. The recent kidnappings have been especially hard on Mozambique's Asian community. Many came to the country long ago, escaping poverty and mistreatment. They started businesses, created jobs, and helped the country grow. But now they're being targeted because people think they are rich. The kidnappings have left the community terrified. Many are scared to send their kids to school. They're scared to go to work. Some are leaving the country. This is a big blow to Mozambique's economy. It's also a sad story for those forced to leave their homes and jobs. The recent kidnapping in Polana Cimento is just one of many similar incidents. Since 2011, there have been hundreds of kidnappings in Mozambique. The real number is probably much higher, as many cases aren't reported. Victims' families are often too scared to talk to the police, fearing revenge from the kidnappers. Even when cases are reported, they rarely lead to people being found guilty. The kidnappers seem to get away with it, often with the help of corrupt officials. This lack of consequences has created a climate of fear and lawlessness. It's also made the kidnappers bolder, as they know they probably won't be punished. The Mozambican government is facing more and more pressure to deal with the kidnapping problem. In 2024, former Attorney General Beatriz Pucili admitted that most kidnappings were planned in South Africa. The government has tried to fix the problem, increasing police patrols and creating a special anti-kidnapping unit. But these haven't helped much. The real problems, poverty, inequality, and corruption, haven't been solved. Until these issues are dealt with, the kidnappings will likely continue. Other countries have also criticized Mozambique's response. Some have issued travel warnings, telling their citizens not to travel to Mozambique. The recent kidnapping in Maputo is a clear sign of the problems Mozambique is facing. It's a terrible event for the victim and his family. It's also a wake-up call for the Mozambican government. The time for doing nothing is over. The government must take strong action to address the real reasons behind the kidnappings. This means dealing with poverty and inequality, making the courts stronger, and getting rid of corruption. The international community also needs to help. Foreign governments and groups can give money and technical support to help Mozambique solve this problem. The people of Mozambique deserve to feel safe. The time to act is now.